First, you'll need to go to the Campus Share Drive. There is, inside the Illustrator folder, there's a folder called Symbols that you're going to need to copy to your OneDrive into your Illustrator folder, like such. And then you're going to need to open, actually before you open, rename so that you have your period number and your last name underscore symbols. Then you can open it. Once we get this open, I'm going to go ahead and do a Control-0 to get this centered, maximized and centered on my window. And then I'm going to open my Symbols panel. Remember, all of your panels are under the Window menu. With your Symbols panel, I want you to realize that you have several libraries built in here. You can look down here and you can see all the libraries here. You can also come here and do Open Symbol Library and see it. And I'll tell you that once you open a specific one, notice that you have a little arrow that allows you to scroll through all the different symbol libraries. You have the ability with symbols to edit them. You have the ability to buy some off of the internet. Sometimes you can even find them for free, but most importantly, it allows you to create your own symbols that you can add to the symbol library. So in this challenge, we're going to be creating a logo for a fictional company called Flyaway. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to select, see if I can select all of them. Yeah, by holding Shift, and I'm going to hit Delete. Now, it doesn't delete them from the libraries. It's just deleting them from this particular window so that I can start with what I want to do. Okay, so what I want to do first is let you know that we can create a symbol out of anything. It can be text. It can even be a bitmap graphic. The only stipulation is that you have to embed the graphic first. It won't work on a linked graphic. So what I want you to do, we have two pieces of text here for Flyaway. And typically when you're making logos, you design things in a couple of different ways so you can compare them and decide what you like to do. So we're just going to select this lower one here using this tool, the black arrow. I'm going to select it, and I'm simply going to drag it and drop it on the Symbols panel. And once we do, it asks what we want to name it, and I'm going to call it Flyaway Logo. And the type that you want to call it. Now, obviously, Illustrator doesn't do animations, and which is what you think of as a movie clip. However, what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you create things so that if you wanted to import it into an animation program or something later on, that you could do so. So we're going to go ahead and set it as a movie clip, and it's going to be a dynamic symbol, and then it's going to be have a center registration point right here. I'm not going to check this box to enable 9-slice scaling, and then I'm going to click OK. And then you see it here in the Symbols panel. Okay. Once it's in here, this is what we call like the parent symbol. So if I made any changes to the parent, then all of the instances of it that you have on your artboard would change. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to go to my layers, and I am going to hide, actually I'm not going to hide it yet. Sorry, I'm just going to keep my layers open. But I want to drag this symbol out right here. Up here in the options, notice that you have this button that says Break Link. What this is going to do is it's going to break the link so that we can edit this without affecting the parent or the master symbol. So I'm going to break the link, and then I'm also going to do an object and ungroup, which the keyboard shortcut is Control-Shift-G. Okay, so now it's going to allow us to make some changes on it. Now, we're also going to need the appearance panel, which is right here. Let me expand it a little bit. So when I have something selected, the appearance panel tells us everything that is there. Now notice that this says that there is a 3-point white stroke outside this fill. Okay, I want to change this white to this RGB yellow, and it's going to fill in that space there between the outer black stroke and the fill with that yellow. Okay, so that's what I want. Now we can drag it in there and make it another symbol. So I'm just going to call this Fly Away Logo Yellow. It also is going to be a movie clip. Dynamic Center Registration Point. And again, these are just things that you do when you're creating logos so that you can compare things side by side. Okay? All right, so what I want to do now is I want to go to the Symbols panel, and I'm going to go to this little options menu at the top, and I'm going to open Symbol Library, and I showed you where all of those were, but down at the bottom we have the ability to get other library. Okay, so I have, these are all of them that are already loaded, but if we go to our OneDrive, in that folder that I had you copy, there is butterflies. And if we open butterflies, it actually opens a library with several butterflies in it. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select all of these and simply drag them over to the Symbols panel. That way I don't really need this. I'm just going to collapse it and set it to the side. Okay, but now they're all in one place. All right, so now what I want to do is this. I want to collapse that layer, and I'm going to lock it, and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to hide the first layer. Okay, so I'm going to, once again, I'm going to drag out the yellow flyaway logo, and I'm going to double click on that layer and name it logo, just so that we know that we're on that layer and that's the one we're working on. Now I am going to use my align panel, and with my align panel I want to select align to artboard, and I want to center that vertically and horizontally so it sits in the middle. And then I'll move that off to the side there as well. Now we have a set of tools here. Looks like a spray can. These are all of our symbol tools. We have the symbol sprayer, which can spray multiple symbol instances to create a symbol set. We then have the shifter, which moves the symbol instances within a set. We have the scruncher, which can move them closer or farther apart. We have the sizer, that obviously changes the size. The spinner rotates the symbol. The stainer can colorize it. The screener adjusts opacity. And then the styler, which can apply styles from the graphic styles panel. So we're going to use several of these today, not all of them, but we're going to use several of them. All right, so what I want to do then, I want you to notice first when you hover over a butterfly with this tool, it tells you what it is. So we're going to be using this butterfly 03. So I'm just going to click on it once. I'm not putting it on the stage, but I am going to click on it to select it. And then I'm going to get my symbol sprayer tool. Now, we have the ability to click on it once to select it and spray, or we can actually double click on the tool and it opens in options. That's what we want to do. Okay, so I double clicked. And there's some different things. There's diameter, intensity, symbol set density, blah, blah, blah. Right now, this is all set at a default, but we do want to change one thing. I want to change the intensity to 3, okay? And it just changes the rate at which the symbols get sprayed on the page. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to start up here kind of in the top left, and I'm just going to do a nice little, oops, I have the wrong symbol. Forgot, butterfly 3. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to have like 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. Doesn't have to be exact, but somewhere around that number of butterflies, okay? And then once I do that, I'm going to get the next tool on the list. That is my, hover over, that's my move, my symbol move tool or shifter tool, but it moves it, okay? And what I want to do then, I want to double click on it, and I want to change the intensity to 8. Okay, now some of you might have said, well, I'm just going to use the selection tool and move it. Well, that moves the whole set. This tool, the shifter, allows us to move the different elements of the set. So now what we want to do is we want to use these to kind of rearrange where the butterflies are on our artboard. Okay, and when we go through using these tools, I want you to realize that you may wind up using them more than once. Okay, so what I have now, I may have to go back and change as I go through it. It's okay if there's a little bit of overlap in some of them. It can create a more interesting look, and it can even overlap the flyaway as well. Okay. The next one we're going to choose is going to be the symbol sizer. So I'm going to skip over the scruncher and go to the sizer. And if you click on a butterfly, it increases the size. Okay, but if we hold down the Alt key, it shrinks it. If we click and hold, it shrinks it a lot. Okay, or if we just click and hold, it grows it a lot. So we want to look and we want to get some of these butterflies to be different sizes. Okay, and again, once you do that, we're later going to be going back and moving things around again. So now we want to get the symbol spinner tool so that we can rotate. Now, when I click on this, notice that you get a red arrow. So that's kind of telling you where it's pointing. Okay, and so I am going to rotate some various ways, and then I'm going to use my shifter tool so that I can bring these closer again. Okay, and so I think I'm going to leave it right about there. All right, now when you do that, you may also decide that you want to rotate or resize some stuff again, and that's okay. Take a minute to do that if you need to. Like I'm looking at this right now, and I don't like this one down here. I actually think I want to move it. Oops. I want to move this small one up, and I want to move this one down a little bit. There. That's what I want. Okay. All right. So now, once you have this set done the way you like, it's time for us to send it to back so that the words stay in the front. So I'm going to go up to, the set is done. I'm going to go up to Object, arrange, send to back.